Benfica Podcast is one of the founding members of Benfica Independent. Benfica Independent is an independent platform made by fans for fans, and in it, you can find our podcast along with many other podcasts, along with articles of opinion, video segments, and much, much more. We're also on patreon.com/Benfica Independent with exclusive contents for our patrons.
Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo. Sí, es un club que tiene una grandeza que no se comprende si no estás aquí dentro.
São de uma magia única, benfiquista, que só nós sentimos assim. Por muitos desgostos que possamos ter, valores mais altos se levantam. E o valor mais alto que se levanta em termos futebolísticos chama-se Benfica.
Quero o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quero o manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estado e assustá-los, pá! É isso que eu quero!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Doll Benfica podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumaças. As always, every week, me and Cristiano break it all down. Cristiano, como é que estás, amigo? Está tudo bem? Já recuperaste do vaqueiro?
Vaquero. Miss him. But yes, I recuperei. I mean, I had such a bad time recovering. I had to be rushed to the hospital on Sunday. But luckily,
that is so
I'm
nuts,
here.
man. That is so nuts.
It is nuts. It's about nuts. Yes.
No pun intended, right?
No pun intended.
You want to tell the people the story or not?
Craziest thing ever to happen to me. I sitting at home getting ready to watch the Benfica game, and bro, one of my favorite things, as you know, is roasted chestnuts, castañas, salad.
Yeah.
And I was getting ready to roll, but I said, man, I want to watch the game. So I grabbed a handful, raw, and I'm sitting there peeling them and eating them, and as the game starts, watching the game, all of a sudden my throat starts to like swell up. And everything starts closing up on me. I took some Benadryl. I was getting sleepy, but I was really having a hard time breathing.
Yeah.
And your uvula, which is the little punching bag in the back of your throat.
Yeah.
It expanded to like 6 times its size, and it started dipping into like my throat, into the breathing. Bro, I go to the hospital. As soon as I tell them what happened, they rush me right in, lay me down, boom, injections, this and that. Doctor comes out, starts talking to me, whatever. And he's like, you're very lucky you made it out here. I'm like, what? He's like, if you didn't come, you probably wouldn't have made it throughout the night. I'm thinking he's joking.
Rough, man.
I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, it's roasted chestnuts, bro.
That's really rough.
I can't stop eating castañas. Are you crazy? And he's like, I get it. He's like, listen, if I was ever allergic to shellfish,
yeah,
I wouldn't want to live neither. So I understand. I'm like, come on, bro, I can have it. He's like, listen, you can have them, but you're just gonna die. So it's up to you. You want to have castañas? I'm like, you serious? So now I'm on a steroid. No, not the Barry Bonds types of steroids. All right, but I'm on a steroid.
Any homers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be in anyway. So I'm taking steroids for the next week, and then I gotta stay a week clear of the steroids so to get out of my system, and then I'm gonna get tested
for all kinds of allergies.
Allergies. But the crazy thing is, bro, I've had castañas every single year I think that I've ever been on this earth.
Yeah.
And so to all of a sudden be allergic to this and have such a bro. Think about it. You're just sitting there watching the Benfica game. All of a sudden, they tell you you're going to die if you don't show up. Like, what? It could have gotten scary.
Yeah.
It was a little scary. But then the guy even started talking about, are you sure? Because they were talking about, were you having troubles breathing? Because they want to penetrate my throat. I don't know, man. They were going to make some type of cut in my throat, put some too.
Yeah, they put the little hole over here.
Yeah, bro.
To bypass your uvula, so you can breathe right out of there.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that's scary, man. That's very scary.
All over castañas, and I absolutely love
and just out of the blue, bro. Out of the blue. That's great. Well, and before that, you had eaten castañas maybe not too long ago, right?
Tudo pelo Benfica. Estás vendo? Gajo pelo Benfica. Yo, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But look, I'm glad I'm here. I don't know about most of you guys, but I'm glad I'm here.
Near that experience for Cristiano.
It wasn't that close.
Over some castañas.
It could have gone. Luckily, it wasn't that close. But I'm glad I'm here. We're going to talk about our sport with Benfica. Baquero's not with us no more. He's gone.
That's right.
He's gone to the other side. I can't wait until he writes a beautiful love letter about us in his 00 column. But yeah, it was an extremely fun week to host him and to have him here with us. And we had a blast. We did the Benfica on tour, Benfica Independent on tour.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know that is, check it out. Go to benficaindependent.com or go to YouTube, Benfica Independent on tour. And we had a really nice conversation.
Yeah. Now, if you guys if you guys have a chance, go on Benfica Independent on YouTube and BI on tour. The latest episode is the ones that were featured with Baquero, and we had a really nice backdrop. We had the New York skyline as a backdrop, and we just
these green things back here, they're amazing.
And we discussed some topics. You know, I don't want to spoil it. Obviously, I want you guys to watch it. But we discussed the difference between American sports, the fan culture, and Portuguese fan culture. Also, we discussed the actual moment of the club, the present moment of the club. What else did we talk about? We talked about a couple other things. But yeah, it was fun, man. It was really fun. All in Portuguese, obviously. So if you guys want to check that out.
So you got to speak Portuguese, obviously. I mean, look,
at least you got to understand it. You don't have to speak it.
Oh, that's a good point. You got to be able to understand it. And listen, I struggle enough at times with the Portuguese language that there's plenty of English in it as well. So you can make out some of the things I was saying.
Yeah, no, it was fun, man. It was fun. It was really good. So we're really proud of how it came out, and our fake producer was behind the camera. Even though the tripod was holding it.
Yeah, any hiccups with the video, just blame it on the fake producer, Alfredo. But before we get going, I want to say what's up to the Freddies in the chat.
Yeah.
We have Dirty Diggers. Good evening. What's up, Dirty? Nick Valadon, boa noite, guys. Or we have with the UCL draw. We're going to get into that in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
Nick Valadon, Manny Valadon. I'm sorry. Oh, what are these guys? Brothers? Nick Valadon, Manny Valadon. Epa, we got a Valadon party in our...
You guys watching it together and on the same couch?
I don't know what he's referring to, but he goes, I kid, glad you okay, Christian. I appreciate, I guess you were suggesting that I was probably better off on the other side. Bruno Gil Rodrigues, grande abraço, there's Montreal, Canada. Bruno, thank you very much. Thank you for taking your time and spending a few of your minutes with us here on the podcast.
Thanks, everybody.
Today, Dave's not with us.
Dave's not with us.
Traveling the world.
Dave's away.
Dave's traveling the world.
He's away.
Are we supposed to say that? His boss maybe thinks he's home with COVID. But Dave might be sick. We don't know. I don't know where Dave is, all right? Just totally disregard that.
I'm sure Trudeau
is
going to allow him back in the country, Trudeau.
He probably will, but he's going to have to quarantine for like 38 days.
38 days?
Yes.
In an afternoon. But anyway, so here we are. On tonight's podcast, we'll look back at the Estoril game and obviously discuss the Champions League draw, which is, for once...
Carlos is here.
Favorable.
Manny Valadon says no relation, by the way. Just want to
no relation?
For those of you that sit at home, wonder if they're brothers, cousins, sisters, whatever. They're no relation.
Valadon is not a very common name. And to
like
have
Fumasa.
Two people on the chat, well, Fumasa is really, really, really uncommon. But to have two Valadons on the chat, that's great, man. You guys should
start the Valadon podcast.
The Valadon podcast.
You guys should do that ancestry stuff, right?
The tree. You never know. You guys might be related.
Talk to the gynecologist Carlos Amaro. He'll set you up with all that.
Now I'm curious. Where's Manny from and where's Nick from?
São vizinhos. Either por cima nos conhecem.
São vizinhos? Nos conhecem.
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm curious to know where those guys are. Yeah, and then we'll look ahead to
SOBs.
We'll look ahead to the Gil Vicente, which is the game, the last game before the World Cup break. And I don't know. We're gonna have a little bit of.
Now we play Estoril. We look ahead to Estoril.
Well, yeah, we got Estoril.
Don't forget Estoril
tomorrow.
The Taça de Cerveja.
No, that's Taça de Portugal.
Oh, it's Taça de Portugal.
Yeah.
Why the hell? Okay.
Taça de Cerveja is during the World Cup.
Oh, that's probably what I'm getting confused. Okay,
yeah.
So, already did ancestry, these guys say. So one guy's in Bermuda.
Manny Valadon is in Bermuda.
He's in Bermuda. I mean,
and where's Nick? Nick is in Aruba.
He took the words out of my mouth. Terceira.
So you went from an island to another island.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
The guy doesn't like running electricity. He likes the...
What, you don't have, they
solar.
don't have electricity in islands?
I don't know, solar. I don't know. Make sure you last with.
No, I'm sure it's beautiful in Bermuda.
Yeah. There's a few guys that listen to the podcast that are from Bermuda.
Yeah, that's right.
Or Aruba. I think it's Bermuda. Yeah, Nelly Boy, right? He's from there.
Yeah.
I think he's from there. There's a few guys. But either way, man, we appreciate all the Freddies from wherever part of the world you may be.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. And so, look, we're Benfiquistas, and that's the one thing
That's the thing that
holds us
matters.
together.
So anyway, let's turn our attention here to the Estoril game. We're going to try to keep it short this week, since Dave's not here and he takes most of the time when he gives out the stats. The guy takes forever, but let's keep it tight. Let's keep it tight.
That's what she said.
Estoril game. Lineup: Vlaco Dimos, Ba Silva, Otamendi, Grimaldo, Enzo Tino, Chiquinho, João Mário, Rafa, and Musa. Are you surprised that Chiquinho got the nod, or do you think it was a little bit of a reward after what he did at Maccabi?
But anytime I see that guy in the field, I'm surprised. But to his credit, he handled himself. He played well, and that's what Roger Schmidt has these guys believing, man. Every single one of these players on this roster, Alfredo, I really, really do believe that the message from the club is, especially from the coaching staff, I should say, is that, bro, o cavalo vai passar a vossa porta. You got to be ready. And I think that with Benfica playing all these important games down the stretch, and obviously they're going to have a nice little break here now because a lot of these guys have not been called up to their national teams, and we'll get into that. We got a question from Gil Vicente already regarding players getting called up and whatever. But I think he wants to give the squad a little bit of rotation, right? And that's exactly what he's done. And I think, look, credit to Chiquinho.
Yeah,
I think the team played well. He played well. It's another one of those games that I absolutely love. It was a nice walk in the park at halftime. Game was in the bag. Everything was controlled, and it just adds up, and it amounts to exactly what we've been saying here on the podcast all season long, man. That this team right now, their confidence is at an all-time high. The coaching staff is pressing all the right buttons. And in a way, yes, we're all going to be excited for the World Cup when it finally does kick off, right? But, man, we're kind of like wishing that we did not have this stop because we don't want this momentum to stop at any time.
Yeah, no, and maybe it's a little bit selfish from us because we enjoy watching this team so much. But in regards to the Chiquinho thing, it's very easy for the guys on the fringe to get alienated by what's going on because it's always the same core of 12, 13 guys that get the nod, right? Mm-hmm. But the fact that Chiquinho came in, Ristich then came in also later in that game.
We'll talk about it.
We're talking about guys that come in and don't skip a beat. And look, we all understand that they have limitations and they have their own capabilities that they're probably as not as good as some of the guys that start, but certainly you look at him and said, okay, well, I think he played to the best of his abilities, which is okay, right? He's not being shitty, right? He's not sucking. He's playing to the best of his abilities, and the fact that he got minutes from Maccabi, works hard in training. Now he's getting more minutes. There's a possibility he may even get minutes against Estoril tomorrow. But it's like, yeah, these guys are bought in. No, these guys are bought in.
You know what it is, man? Look, and I have to admit, I'm harsh on some of these guys at times, right? But I think when you look at every single one of the guys on the bench, yes, they probably would not be our first choices. But for a span of 2 to 3 games, if some other guys get hurt, they could fill in well, and they could handle their own, and they could help this team. Now, it becomes more of a concern when it's long-term, but I think for a few games here and there, yeah, even Diogo Gonçalves, Musa's come in, he's played well. Credit to Chiquinho. Chiquinho does have some ability. At times, he looks like he's just out there for a walk in the park, but when he's playing well, the guy could absolutely get himself involved in the game, and it's been fun to see, man. I think for the most part, all season long, there have not been many performances by any of our players that have been below par, and so it's a credit to everybody that's bought in. And it's credit to the coaching staff, credit to the players that are ready, credit to the teammates that are probably keeping these guys' spirits up because it's not easy to come into work every single day, bust your ass, and then sit on a bench and not get many minutes. Even as a professional, you get discouraged.
Yeah.
So this is a collective effort, man, and we want to keep this going.
Yeah, no,
I'm
absolutely.
very excited to what's going to happen here down the line. But
it's good to see buy-in. It's good to feel that these guys themselves know that they're part of the team, regardless of what their role is, regardless of whether they're not starters week in, week out. But certainly, when you're called, and you're going to be called because the coach has confidence in your work and you've been working hard in training, man, you got to take that opportunity. Why not? Why not? So it was great to see Chiquinho. But as Cristiano mentioned, 3-0 at the end of the half. So the game pretty much in control. But we did get a scared early on with Vlaco Dimos with a kick save
to come up with that big save,
keep us in that game, because we all know that teams like to lock themselves up in the back, and if we had allowed that goal, I don't know how Estoril is going to play for the rest of the game. It's so it was good to. And it's not the first time, and I think that there's a lot to be said about. Well, not a lot to be said, but we know when goalies are good when for 80 minutes you're basically just warming up or trying to stay warm, and then all of a sudden you get called for a high difficulty save and you make it.
Yeah, and a lot of times some goalies have that difficulty.
Yeah,
because they stand around for so long, and all of a sudden you get called into action.
Or like you disconnect, you're not focused.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're not prepared, and even your body start to. You know, a lot of times you're sitting at a game and you see a goalie, jumping jacks and right, and all these old school workouts on the sideline, breaking out of sweat just to stay active and all. So when they get called upon, that they have that flexibility, they have that reaction, those instincts. And so look. We needed that save. Right in that moment, we needed that save because, as you mentioned, things could have gotten really interesting. We don't know how the rest of the game would have panned out. But the fact is that Vlaco Dimos got his toe out there, got that toe on the ball. Benfica was able to recover, turn up the other way, and then from that, Benfica just went to work. And I think Benfica, from the very first minute, you could tell they meant business. With the exception of that one play, I don't think we were ever in danger. And I think the team felt comfortable, but it was a matter of breaking down that wall on the other side. And that's exactly what it did. Fantastic cross from Grimaldo into Peter Musa. Peter, right?
Peter.
Whatever. Peter.
Pedro Musa.
Who looked like Michael Jordan there for a second. My man went up. I thought he jumped up way too early. And then he was hanging up there for a while. And then he was still able to make powerful contact.
Yeah. Direct the ball.
Yeah, direct the ball and put enough power behind his header in order to put the ball in the back of the net. And I'm just sitting there like, And it's hilarious because here comes my boy, Diogo, the hater.
The hater.
Musa scored again, Chris. Get that crow sandwich. Baby, I love crow. Crow is my... After castañas, because obviously you weren't here before, it was my second favorite dish is crow. Hopefully I don't get to the hospital for that one. But, anytime I criticize my teams, regardless of whatever the sport it is, and they make me look like a clown the very next day, I love it. So, Musa... Bring it on, bro. I hope you keep listening to our podcast, and I hope I keep motivating you.
Yeah, 3 games, 3 goals, man. That's and look, you talk about having a confidence in your players and getting the right calls and the right opportunities if you're working hard. Musa might have not been the first choice a couple weeks back or since the beginning of the season, but now he's certainly making a case for being a guy that is a lot more efficient than Gonçalo Ramos. And granted, look, you look at the past 3 games, and you got shellackings against teams that didn't really present a lot of opposition to us. But certainly, you score the goals, you get the opportunities, you score the goals. That's when you need to bury them, because that's just going to build up and give you confidence. So then, when it comes to you playing a good opponent, you have that confidence and you can knock them out.
No, look, man. As you mentioned before, Benfica's been at this stage in past seasons, right? Where they're clearly the better team, but for some reason or other, they could not break down the teams, and they will struggle to create opportunities. And at least they're doing what they're supposed to do. The better team's supposed to put the game away, and that's exactly what Benfica is doing. And again, it sounds corny. I keep repeating myself, but it's credit to everyone on the squad. I think they come out there to demolish, do the very best that they can do, put the game away, and worry about the next game. It's about today's game's the most important game. We'll worry about the next one. But they put that game away early, so like that they can kind of coast in the second half and not really have to, be panicking and defending. And we've seen that. We've seen a game, that started to lose. Benfica's up 3-1 comfortably. to Passo first being down 1-0, then they turn around, scored 3 unanswered, and then Passo scores a late goal, and it's 3-2, and then Benfica hung on, and things got really interesting. Same thing with Vizela. Benfica really struggled to get a late goal, and at least in these games, they're putting it away, and they're making it a no contest. And so, good for them.
It's gotten a lot. It's gotten a lot better, certainly with the consistency. And look, as the season progresses, it's all expected that things would get better with the team and the routines and dynamic and the movement. All of that is matching up quite nicely and fitting quite nicely to our style. And look, it's entertaining, and everybody should be entertained. It should be happy. It should be.
Are you not entertained?
It should be a momentous occasion every time you watch Benfica. Now you should be happy. You should be.
It is. You look forward to these.
Putting on your most comfortable T-shirt and a nice pair of pantufas and sitting on your lazy boy and your most comfortable position. And with the nice beer in tow, and just sit there and enjoy the enjoy the show.
Yeah,
you know, it's nice. It's nice for once, man. Because God knows we've been suffering the past 3 years, past 3 seasons.
I mean, there's been times where we, watching Benfica play over the last 3-4 years, it was like a chore.
Yeah.
And now it does not. Now it feels like like an excuse to get out.
That's why
I'll take out the garbage. Here you go. Like I'm running out the door. Like it's.
Yeah, it's like I'm upset that the World Cup is going to interrupt.
Yeah.
Because I would have liked to, have seen this Benfica keep piling on, man. It's good.
But things got so interesting, Alfredo, in Benfica.
How interesting did they get?
Paquilero calcanhares galore,
Hey,
bro. Everybody back heels. Get into the next goal.
No. I was going to mention that. I just wanted to throw up the stats, obviously.
Oh, Dave's not here. He's gallivanting around the world. I didn't think we were gonna put up stats today.
But yeah, I just think that that it's interesting that Benfica is really piling it on, and it just looks so natural, man. It doesn't look labored at all. It just looks natural, like these guys have been playing for a while. And then you mentioned Ristic that came in and had that fucking rope.
We didn't even talk about who put Silva's 2 goals. You already skipped it to the last goal of the game.
I don't know.
And then you say I don't follow. I've been sticking to the script.
But you know what it is? I think that.
Bro, how do you not mention a Putu's
No, you have
first 2 goals of his career.
It's not his first goal. He had scored before.
Did he?
Yeah.
In the league?
I don't know if it was for the league, but he had scored.
See, this is why we missed it.
No, and here's the thing, man. I think that Antonio Silva went from being a novelty to being just a given. Unexpected. A guy that's there, he's just part of the team. I don't think I don't look at the guy anymore as 18, he's 19 now, but I don't look at him like that because he's been a consistent part of the team, and we're used to his consistent performances that it's just like, that's just Antonio Silva.
Yeah, but Alfredo, you're right. You're right. And I'm not trying to throw shade at what you're saying. But, we are fresh off. Not too far, not too long ago, we had a player make his debut, and a lot of people were saying he's better than Ruben Diaz. This kid's the future. He's going to be and then, the bottom fell off.
Right.
And so we're not saying that's the same case that's going to happen with Dahl here, but I mean we did have an example, and I understand Ferro was a little bit older, but the guy at one point looked unstoppable. And my man was coming out the back with the ball at his feet, and he was playing, and he looked fantastic for a bit. So that's why we still mention this kid, because at the end of the day, look, the fact is he was playing on the U19s last year, and he's what, a week into his 19th year? You know what I mean? My man's turned 19 this week or whatever it is. And so everything he does is still, looked upon with great eyes, like with great excitement, because he still is a kid. Based on his experience, what's he got, 15 professional games under his belt? So yeah, we mention all those things because it still is exciting. And you're right, he's handled himself like a veteran. He's played like a veteran. But at the end of the day, you don't take away the fact that he's only 3 months into his professional career. He's only, a week past his 19th birthday. So it's a lot of new things happening at once. But we could also have to stay even keeled because, as I mentioned before, we've had this happen.
Yeah.
Where a great central came out of nowhere, and then just like that, he vanished.
Yeah,
and
no,
we're hoping this is not
that.
the case with this kid. I don't think it is.
I've been impressed with Tony Silva from the preseason, man. I even thought he was over the other youngster that came to training. Also, that name escapes me now.
Glenn Gold says first league goal had scored in Champions for Antonio. I believe.
There you go.
So the first
I know that
league
he had scored. His first man of the match also. And the curious thing is that he gets the man of the match, and to take the official picture of the man of the match, he's holding a trophy with one hand, and on the other hand has got his finger pointed to the crest, meaning there's nothing more important or higher than this club, and not any individual award.
And we also have look, we have João Mario's goal to talk about Aristes, but just to add to that, Alfredo, not to sway too far away from the topic of conversation, but when you mention him pointing at his aqui, o nosso beautiful crest of Benfica, it adds, it goes a little bit with, this is what we wanted Benfica to teach, even the new guys coming in, to understand what Benfica is, and this kid gets it. This kid totally understands it, and he's like, yo, Benfica, like, a lot of these guys come in, like, you know, we talked about it in the summer, when Enzo was leaving at the airport, you know, leaving Argentina to come to, oh, yeah, this is a great, you know, springboard, or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was something to that effect, yeah.
Right, to that effect. And it's like, bro, no. And this kid is showing it. And that's like, you have the Benfiquismo inside you, bro.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, it's great to see.
Yeah.
This kid ain't worried about making a jump to a bigger league. And like a few weeks ago, they asked him about playing for a big club. He's like, I'm already in a big club.
Yeah.
Like, the dude's straight up Benfica. He's as Benfiquista as we are.
Yeah.
We love it.
And I think not too long ago, there was a little clip from him where he said he had hoped that Ruben Dias would have stayed another year so they could play together.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. It's just nice as a Benfiquista. It's nice to see that, and I think that's one of the reasons why we're always kind of rooting for these kids to have success, because we know how a lot of them live and feel the club, right? Even on their, you know, when they're juniors and U15s, they're going to the stadium and they're getting excited at the stadium, just like any old fan. And then to be able to see him succeed and fulfill the dreams of millions of Benfiquistas that thought, I wish I could play for my team.
Yep.
Right? Fulfilling that dream, I think it's great. It's a great story. But look, it doesn't come without sacrifice. It doesn't come without effort. It doesn't come without talent. And that talent, not everyone is born with talent like that, with the ability to play at that level. So look, I wish him the best. I hope that he stays at Benfica for a long, long time, because he's a kid that has shown that he feels the club like many of us.
Carlos Amado says that he's different from Ferro in the fact that he bounces back from mistakes like they never happened. Yeah, it's true, but let's not forget. We're like, you guys are thinking about Ferro, the latest Ferro that we saw. I'm talking about the original Ferro. Ferro would bounce back as well. The dude looked like he was on his way as well. So let's try to be fair. But yeah, the guy that wound up finishing out, the last couple of seasons was a far cry from that Ferro that we all fell in love with. So
and
he bounced back a lot too. But
he's just faded out.
Yeah.
Faded out. Where is he now? In third year?
Split.
Oh, he's in Croatia, right?
Yeah, split.
So now that we mentioned it, we'll move on to the
Reigning Entertainment in Federal, like a guy who got his heart broken by his first girlfriend, and he'll never love again. He'll never be the same. So
we mention here on the podcast quite frequently that the sport at this level, there's a lot of the mental aspect that goes into it, because you reach a level where you're kind of like on a same level playing field in terms of ability and athleticism as many guys on the team. Obviously, there's going to be the standouts, but it's that mental aspect that's going to get you through the slumps.
I repeat myself on a podcast a lot, and I think I've said this multiple times.
You going to talk about teaching speed again?
No. I'll teach. That's for Rafa.
That's for Rafa.
But I've said this countless times. When I was young, when I was relatively young, 16, 17, and whatever, I was kicking the ball around, I was always told by some of my coaches and guys, very smart people, that at the time I thought they were dumber than I was, but now, as I got older, I'm like, wow, you look at them, but they would always tell me, Cristiano, soccer is 90% mental, 10% physical. I'm like, what the? That made no sense for me.
Yep.
No sense. And as I got to always try to, and I now understood things a little bit better. It really is, because here's the one thing about Ferros and all these guys, right? Let's not forget. In order for you to get to Benfica, you got to have some ability. You don't get there by mistake, right? So that means that you know what you're doing. And then it's just about your mental aspect. It's about being able to flip the page. It's about being able to stay positive at all times. Because it doesn't matter how great these guys are. They have their ups and downs as well. They have their good days and their bad days. So it's all mental. And that's why a lot of teams, especially in American sports, and I know now they're doing it in European, and in soccer, whatever, in European sports as well, which is you go to NFL teams, NBA, MLB, they all have mental coaches.
Yeah.
Working with
along
the club,
with psychiatrists.
Coaches, that's what I mean. When I say coaches,
A mental coach could be different from a psychiatrist.
Okay, so I'm meaning psychiatrists more so. So these players, they're like you and I, with an ability to be great at something. You know what I mean? You guys could probably type 1,000 words a second. They can't. I can't. You know what I mean? Like, it just, we all have different talents, and their talents to play football. But at the end of the day, they're humans just like you and I, and they have their ups and downs. And so Ferro, my man, fell off the edge of a cliff. At one point, his confidence sky high. I don't know what the hell happened to him. The dude just, he'd see a ball and he'd get scared. I'm surprised he's still playing football. I'm shocked he hasn't retired. Like, he looked really bad at one point.
Yeah.
But, you know, it could happen to anybody, guys.
No, 100%. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So let's talk. Same situation with Ristich, right? As
João Mário scored a beauty though.
He did score a beauty. Nice little pass
by
Neres.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was nice. He just tucked it away. But the thing with Ristich, and look, and somebody was saying in terms of the center backs now, and I forget who was on. You know, we have a lot of center backs. I think the story is that Otamendi wants to go and play in Argentina.
It was Boris, I think.
Now, whether or not he's gonna say, "Fuck, I'm on the verge of becoming a champion of Portugal for Benfica," something that he's never experienced. Does he give that up after the World Cup?
I just wanted to, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Ferro, he was on loan. Hydric split, and now he's at Vitesse. So just credit to somebody on Twitter who said, on the chat, who said he was
Gonçalo
says, wow, I missed that, I guess.
Yeah. No, I got a feeling that he was elsewhere, but
I knew he was at Split. Hydric split, and now I guess.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Elaborate. Go ahead. Continue what you were saying. I apologize. I just wanted to correct that.
No, but I think that talking about, I think there's no better thing than you look at the squad, right, and you look at the depth, and you look at also the guys that are coming up, and you know that there's a succession plan in there, right? So there's a good chance that we're going to lose Grimaldo at the end of this year.
I don't know, man.
Right?
I thought it was I thought,
rather than depending on Gil Diaz.
I thought the chance we had a higher. I thought the chances were higher of him leaving. When the years, I think he's fallen in love, and I think the dude's having the best season at Benfica.
He wants to try new waters, man. And I don't blame you. I don't blame him.
But now that everything, this Benfica is a different Benfica. Everybody's having fun playing for this coach.
Yeah.
He might just say, you know what, man, where am I going to go? I'm having fun here, living in a beautiful city. I'm playing in a club that's complete, that's actually, look, we might not win a champion, but we're competing. We just came out of first in the group. In the Champions League with Juventus. And I know Juventus in Paris Saint-Germain and in a strong Maccabi Haifa, whatever, right? The point is that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if Benfica gives them something reasonable, right?
Yeah, no,
salary-wise,
I
why not? He's in love.
He's going to be a father soon. Obviously, starting a family. Wants to provide for his family. Wants to guarantee his future.
I feel bad. Can't provide him for 1.7 mil. That must be.
Yeah, but there are other opportunities. But I don't know. As a player, you'd always feel challenged to go play in some of the better leagues, right?
Maybe he needs to hang out with Antonio Silva. Eu já tô num grande, pá. Antonio Silva needs to start taking these older guys out with him.
No, you're not too far from the truth. But but to be able to see that we actually have somebody that could back up Grimaldo, and granted, my feeling is that I like what I've seen so far, but I don't think he has been proven yet defensively.
As long as he keeps coming up with those Croatian rockets, bro, he can play on my team. That was a lazy.
Man, I can't remember last time we saw a goal like that from a Benfica player, that far out, a rope like that.
Bro, that was... Oh, great. Oh, my man. Yo, what a freaking line drive. I mean, credit to... And it's funny because somebody retweeted on Twitter, apparently when FIFA came out with their rankings and his shot was like a 69, and he grabs it, he's like, have you not seen me in training or something like that?
Presenting the player cards.
Yeah, and he's like, 69 shot, have you not seen me in training? And I guess my man said, yo, I'm going to do it back in the game. Credit to Rick. Look, he's always looked, in my opinion, I remember having this conversation with Hugo, because he was like, I don't know. I'm like, bro, he's got a nice touch. He looks, I've never seen him play, but he looks all right. And bro, he's come in, made a couple cameo appearances, and in this time, I mean, my man made sure none of us forgot that he was on the field with that fantastic goal.
Yeah, and look, before we mentioned the word confidence and buy-in, and when you take a shot like that, you have to be extremely confident that you're gonna drive that at goal, and it's gonna be a good attempt. And regardless whether the Benfica is up 4-0 or not,
4-0, yeah.
And that you have the freedom that nobody's gonna be yelling at you if you just shank it. But still, there's got to be some confidence where you could rip a ball like that, dude.
Alfredo, I'm pretty sure that was in his first attempt.
I'm talking about other goals that somebody was mentioning in the chat. Samu Suarez with a goal from his own half.
I mean, look, I said this on Twitter. I said this on Twitter to a few people. And yes, it was impressive, but I'm a lot more impressive when a goalie stops the ball from going into his own net than I am when he puts it in the opposite net. So, credit to him.
Goal, that's not really a goalie thing.
Yeah, I'm more worried about him stopping the shots from going in than him putting them in himself. But yeah, credit to him, and good for him. It was a nice another moment to get the Benfica out there throughout the masses.
Yeah. 4-0 in João Mario, Ristich 5-0, and then we allowed the goal in the 90+ minutes.
I don't know what the hell that was,
it was just a lack of. Well, it was a lost ball by Enzo, and then Gilberto was too far wide, and he just got beat. But it's gotten to the time, and you've heard me here. Don't shit on this Benfica. But it's gotten to the time that you're kind of like, where can I find flaws in this team? Where can I nitpick to have something to talk about? And maybe, giving up that clean sheet was something that you could look back. But still, man, tremendously proud. And
Boris
happy.
Nagroza goes a step further. He says, this team's playing so well that even Chiquinho looks great.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Chiquinho wrist. Stop my mocking.
Yeah.
Man.
No, look, 23 straight wins, man. That's all that matters.
Not straight wins.
23
unbeaten streak.
23 unbeaten. 23
games without a loss.
Correcto.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. That's what I'm here for. I'll get paid the big bucks for that.
Yeah.
Vaquero last week took most of the pay, but this week I'm back on rate.
Yeah. Turning our attention now to the Champions League draw. Round of 16, here we come. And so, Cristiano, so this is how the other half lives, right? The half that lives in pot one.
I've been waiting all week to use that line, and you stole it from me.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I mean, I guess this is what it feels like to win a pot, to win a group.
To win a pot.
Yeah.
Look, I got the groups up on the screen, but certainly, as we've talked to everyone, who would you like from pot two? And everybody's like, Bruges. We want Bruges. For me, I didn't even mention Bruges because it was too good to be true, and Benfica hasn't always had the best draws. So I felt that I don't even bother asking for Bruges, whoever it is. But certainly, you get Bruges, and look,
you just didn't want Liverpool from that pot. I think that was the only team we didn't want. Because obviously we couldn't get PSG again. So the only team we really didn't want was Liverpool, and everybody else. I think, look, this Benfica, I'm not afraid to go to battle against any of those other teams with this squad. So yeah, we got Bruges, obviously, as you mentioned. Let's not kid ourselves, right? That's who everybody wanted. And not only did we get Bruges, but then they got even better. You got 4 Sharks playing each other, which means that if you get through Bruges, you got 2 less Sharks to face in the next round, which Liverpool playing Real Madrid. One of them is going to go home. And then PSG, Bayern Munich. So, hey, man, in order to make these magical runs a la our neighbors in 2004, you need you need Lady Luck on your side.
Yeah.
And hey, man, maybe the stars start to align, and let's start believing. Why not?
But I don't think it's going to be that easy. They had a decent group stage. They finished the group on second behind Porto, right? And they beat Porto 4-0
at the Luz. Jesus Christ, at the Dragão.
At the Dragão, yeah. So look, I think that if we go into the game thinking that this is the easiest team that we could get and try to relax a little bit, which I don't think it's the style with George with Roger Smith. But you have to take it seriously. Do you happen to know the dates?
February 15th, I believe.
Yeah, February 15th
and March 7th.
March 7th.
I think it's March 7th.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, so Leipzig, City, Bruges, Benfica, Liverpool, Real Madrid. So we're gonna at least lose one of the Sharks there. Milan, Tottenham, Eintracht, Napoli, Borussia, Chelsea, Inter, Porto, Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern, Munich. You're also going to lose another Shark there on that. So it's good that we get to lose 2 Sharks after that.
Boris says if we get to keep our team intact, we will overcome this Bruce. Man, Boris, I'll tell you this much. Not only are we going to keep our team intact, I believe that Benfica is going to strengthen come January transfer window. Because you have an opportunity to make something special of this season. Look, the draw worked in your favor. You got big teams facing each other. Man, you just need to get lucky. You need to get lucky with this draw, and you never know. Why not take advantage of that opportunity? Why look at it, as, epa, no, bro, you're in it. You're in the fight. You're in the fight. And I think that we're going to strengthen. I don't think we're going to lose any of our key players come the January transfer window. And things are going to get really interesting, guys.
Yeah, and then after you get past Bruges, you also find out who your next 2 opponents are. So on your path to the semis will then be drawn out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't think there's a Benfica out there that's not happy with this draw. Certainly, it could have been a lot worse. I don't think it could have been any better than that. Would you have liked to get any other team other than Bruges?
No, I told you Bruges is number 1, but I think I would have been comfortable with everybody else. Obviously, you look at Leipzig. Okay, they could cause some troubles, but I think Benfica at the end of the day, if we played the way we played against Juve and against PSG, I don't see why we couldn't handle our business there. Milan. Look, Milan's my side piece, as you know, Alfredo. Benfica is my number 1, but Milan's always been my side piece. It would have sucked to see that one, but even then, I know they won the Scudetto last year, but I think Benfica. Again, the way Benfica's played this season, I see them eventually getting through and finding a way to get through. Milan struggled at times to get the ball in the back of the net this year. They've not really been efficient on the offensive third, and they're having their own difficulties, and I think Benfica could absolutely cause them difficulties. So it'd be an interesting matchup, but I think they could get through. I think Benfica get through that easy. Dortmund obviously is a different beast and could definitely cause some problems. Inter, when they get on the defensive end, they could obviously suffocate you a little bit. But again, another team that I think Benfica could have handled. And so, Bruges era puta toski. Mas as outras todas iam abaixo.
The last hot girl at the club at 2 o'clock in the morning. They call the last call.
No, she was the hottest. She was the hottest. Bruges, todo mundo queria. She's the hottest. A mais bonita, a pior que lá estava, mas comia só fim de o Borussia Dortmund. Se calhar comia, com uma fome do caralho. But
yeah, no,
but she's the hottest chick in the Bruges was the hot chick that everybody was looking at.
It's a good draw for us. We're gonna have to see how it develops. February is a long ways away, and certainly you got another transfer window in there before the game. So there's teams with Champions League money that maybe they'll hit the market to get a piece here and there. World Cup, you never know who's gonna stand out in the World Cup, and there may be guys that are gonna be picked up. By some Sharks, by some others that are just going to need a guy to plug in the hole. And I think that as a player, you want to play in the Champions League. And if you're not cup tied, you take that offer in a minute. So I think that also in terms of players, and you look at the way this Benfica has been playing, what player wouldn't want to play for this Benfica?
I think you're in a knockout stage too. On top of it, it's not just the group stage, the knockout stage, with an opportunity to go deep into this competition. Yeah, I think, look, whomever Benfica sets their eyes on, come January. I think it's going to be obviously somebody that's going to be willing and excited to join this team. I don't think they're going to go after some guys that are, look, at this point, I don't really think there's many guys that could look down on Benfica, to be brutally honest. This team's playing attractive football. Yeah. That's what every player wants to play, is an attractive football with an opportunity to run up and down the field and score goals and create, and, you know. So it's very attractive, bro.
Yeah, I'm looking at this team as, and a lot of people are looking at this Benfica team as the Monaco team from a few years back that had a nice run under Leonard Jardim, if I'm not mistaken. We also had Ajax make a run not too long ago.
Villarreal last year.
Yeah. So I mean, there's always these dark horses that come in and they surprise everyone. Also, Atalanta.
Yeah, Atalanta made a nice run from Italy.
Right. It's just teams that are well coached and that have a good group of players.
And you got to get the luck of the draw.
And right. But also, you know, you can't underestimate these teams because they're, you know.
They're there for a reason as well.
Absolutely. Right. They take some.
Other teams just go to Europa League. You know what I mean? They're still in the Champions League for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So next up, we play Estoril for the Taça de Portugal. That comes up tomorrow as we record this. Anything different that you expect from Verissimo that we saw on Sunday? Shouldn't be there. I mean, if anything, they'll
be more defensive.
They'll be more cautious
in the back, close up a little bit more because they obviously and they've seen it up close and personal what Benfica can do with space, and so we're gonna batten down the hedges in the back and maybe catch them on a counterattack because all we got to worry about is winning this game, and we find a way to get through this game. Te vai penalti, caralho, não vai?
Yeah.
Is it? A Taça Liga.
É mata-mata.
Talvez. Aquilo no fim do dia tem que pegar ganhador.
Yeah.
That's it.
You don't remember our Caldas game? We went to penalties?
Who?
Caldas.
That was Taça Portugal?
Yeah.
I'm so messed up with like games every other day. I don't know what's Taça Portugal. I don't know what's Taça Cerveja.
The Taça Cerveja doesn't start until the World Cup break.
Okay.
But yeah.
You told me that like 10 times, but I'm not going to...
Look, I don't think it's too far from a two-leg elimination thing with Estoril. I was thinking about that. Well, they're going to have a different strategy. I don't think they're going to have a different strategy. Now they've seen the speed.
Temos o set piece master, Verissimo.
Now that they've seen the speed and the movement in real life, they're going to be making more adapting a little bit more to defend against it. Mm-hmm. But I still don't think that this Estoril team has anything to keep us out of sleep or to prevent us from. I don't know what I would say there.
No. It's a real beach. Diogo Reis says, I think all we need is a winger. I think we need a winger and a striker. A guy that...
We've been talking about the dude from Casa Pia, Lincoln. I think it would be a nice pickup.
Is that the guy that was at Santa Clara last year? Lincoln? No. Or is it?
No, it's not Lincoln. Dude, okay, I'm messing something up. Somebody help me here.
Because it was a Lincoln.
I just looked this up the other day because I was talking to Steve Santos about it. It's not Lincoln, but he has like a weird name. Help us out in the chat.
Alfredo?
No.
That's weird.
No. I just looked this up the other day.
I don't know.
It was on Live Score. It's not Lincoln. Godwin. There it is. Yeah, that's the dude.
Go South Chuck.
Yeah.
He's on it.
And Godwin. I think that he's not a one-trick pony. No, he's a winger.
Oh, he's a winger.
He's not a one-trick pony, and he extremely fast. And maybe for the money that we can buy him, it's worth taking that risk.
Amado says Ricardo Duarte still sneaking out the back window.
I don't know. I don't know if that ever comes together again, man. That's really that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, he would look nice, but then I think I mentioned it the other day.
Everybody's forgotten about. Everybody thought that Horta would be a great fit, and everybody's forgotten about.
Yeah, but think about it. If he was here, João Mário would not be having the season he is, and even if you move João Mário into the middle, then Frederick wouldn't have been here. So look, I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm happy the way things worked out.
The butterfly effect type of deal thing, but I think that's come and done. That window of opportunity, man, it was there. It was the perfect time. He's going to be a year older. Still, I don't think his contract. The times. When is his contract up? I don't know when his contract is up.
He just re-upped last off season, so.
Yeah.
But whatever. Look, I don't think the door is closed because I still think the player at the end of the year can force his way there. But I think obviously Salvador and Braga would have to significantly drop their price. Right now, Benfica is not at a desperate stage. I think Benfica coming into this past off season were closer to being desperate than what they're going to be next off season. So look, you can never say never, but I don't think it's at this point it's a priority for Benfica.
Yeah. But look, I think that it's a must-win game. We need to win that Portuguese Cup trophy that has escaped us for quite some time now. What is it, like 3 in 20 years or some shit like that? That Baquero keeps saying. That's Baquero's thing.
What?
The Portuguese
they
Cup.
won 4 in the last like 30 or something.
Yeah, something like
Which
that.
is pathetic.
It is pathetic
Absolutely.
for a club of the size of Benfica. So
it's like the Red Bulls in the MLS. They've never won a U.S. Open Cup.
yeah, just go to Coimbra da Mota again and spank them. If it's more than 5, even better. And try to keep a clean sheet this time. After that, we face Gil Vicente this Sunday, 6 p.m. local at Stade de Luge will be the last game.
The Cox, right? We got to use the Cox.
The
We
Cox,
always
the
mention
Cox
the
joke.
Cox. What is the Cox?
The Gil Vicente Cox.
Yes.
Os Galos. But yeah, it'll be the last game before the World Cup break. I don't know if many of you guys are excited about the World Cup. I certainly.
Portugal's going to win it all. I just want to say it on the Benfica podcast. I don't know how, who they're paying off, what chickens they're killing, but Portugal's going to win it. Yes, with that
Paying off.
That Velhota is our coach. Yes.
Worry about paying off the fisco,
Yeah, exactly.
the IRS,
They ain't paying that.
the Portuguese IRS.
That's not being paid. Nobody's even questioning.
Nobody ain't got time for that.
But he's going to lead us to the World Cup. Don't ask me how. He's going to lead us to the World Cup.
Yeah, com os chantinhos. Com os chantinhos and umas velhinhas and all that crap and whatever. I'm sorry, man. You guys know how I feel. I'm just not excited about the national team. I know that maybe you tell me I'm not a patriot, whatever, but I'm just not excited because.
No, you don't even like the New England Patriots.
No, the thing is that look, I like. I like the generation that's there now. There's a lot of talent, but the way this donkey is leading this team, and I'm not even gonna get into specific players, but the way this dude is just ruining this generation is amazing, and people that allow him.
Well, the good thing is that we're either going to win it and you're going to be all right, whatever. I'm glad we went through it, or we're going to lose and he leaves. So whatever it is,
it's a win-win situation.
Within the next month, we're going to be happy with the result one way or another. So
I hope so, man. I hope so. In terms of Benfica players, there was talk that they were looking at Tony Silva. Do they need Tony Silva, the national team?
Oh, you mean the national team? I thought you were talking about Benfica. I'm like, who the hell's Tony Silva? You got a new player? Listen, I think if Pep is injured and not able to partake in the World Cup, I think Tony Silva goes. If Pep is healthy, you're looking at Pep, Ruben Diaz, Danilo, and then it's going to be a coin flip between, because it's going to be so much pressure to get a Sporting guy in there. The kid Ignacio, I don't think he belongs. You got Jallo, you got a 15-year-old.
Oh yeah, Jallo.
Yannick Jallo, whatever.
You got Late.
Late's playing well over there in Germany as well, and then you got the old man, and we know, Velhota, the Santos always reverts back to the old guys. You guys just have fun. So I don't know. Look, as much as I love Antonio Silva, I'd actually be okay if he's not on the national team.
Yeah, me too. And Ramos too. I'd be okay if he's not there.
No, but Ramos got more experience. The kid's, bro, we just talked about it at the beginning of the podcast. He's only, 15 games into his professional career, right? I don't think you give a kid like that their debut at the World Cup. That's where he's going to make his debut.
He's made his debut in the Champions League.
That's, brother, as much as we all love the Champions League, it's not the World Cup. And anybody that tells you otherwise, it's not. The World Cup is the crown.
I agree with you,
jewel,
Bruno. Quanto menos jogadores do Benfica, melhor. Assim não se lesionam. Yeah, true that. True that. We'll look at probably 4 or 5 guys that are going.
Let's be honest. Whoever goes for Benfica, you're looking at Ramos.
None of the Brazilians.
You look at João Mario, right? and you look at so you got Silva.
Joe Mari makes it. I think
I know, but listen to what I'm saying. Let's just say the possibilities: Ramos, Mario, Florentino, and Silva. It's the four for the Portuguese national team, right? Those are the four guys. Realistically, the only one that has a legit shot at playing is João Mario.
Yeah.
Because
he's not
going to play the young kids. He's not going to play
no, but I don't even know if he plays João Mario, to be honest with you.
João Mario's been more reliable. And João Mario, say what you want.
Might be a role player.
You know I've been...
I don't know, dude.
I've been a huge critic of João Mario since he's arrived at Benfica.
You have, yeah.
But the dude's having the best season of his life. So, in terms of merit, he deserves to be there. Yeah. And obviously, Rafa retired. But João Mario has had a tremendous season. And so, we know that he's been there for Santos in the past. I would not be surprised because he has those tendencies.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just look at that midfield and I don't know how João Mario would be able to slot in there because there's a lot of talent in that midfield, man.
Mateus Nunes is playing well over there in England, but João Mario is playing terrific. Like those are the guys you're looking at.
You got Nunes, you got Neves.
João Mario, I played João Mario over all those guys. And you know, coming from
Palhinha.
Palhinha is a defensive center mid, totally different.
You got the William.
Palhinha is. I don't think William should go to the World Cup.
I don't think so either. But he will go.
Palhinha is my starter on this Portuguese national team.
As a holder.
As a holding midfielder.
And who plays in front of him? Vitinha?
Of course.
And Neves.
Bruno.
And Bruno Fernandes.
Uh-huh.
That's it. So where are you going to fit João Mario?
You can rotate. What do you? I mean, these guys are going to have to come off at 60th minute. They're not, I mean, what the?
No, but not as a starter.
No, not as a starter. No, as a starter because then you could obviously, you could still slide in some other guys in there. But yeah.
Yeah, Carlos.
He's going to go.
Ramos is just going to go for the experience, man. He's not going. He's obviously not going to play. But yeah, I think that Rafa did the right thing by reneging the national team by retiring. Thought it was great. And
there's also Renato. That's right. Renato's also there.
Yeah, but Renato's been hurt.
He's always hurt, so there's a question mark whether he gets called up to the national team or not.
But Quaresma was said something in support of Rafa today. Whatever.
Yeah.
If you're having a remarkable year at your club and then you go to the national team and you're just
another player.
What's the point?
I get it himself. A lot of times he was playing well at Porto and he was getting called up just because he was playing well at Porto, not because the coach ever counted on him. So it's like at that time I thought myself about leaving the national team a lot of times, but I'm glad I'm glad I didn't because we wound up winning the Euro. But yeah, man, it's definitely interesting. But at the end of the day, I go back to what I said. All them guys, whether they get called up or not, at least in the Portuguese national team, their chances of playing are slim, very slim. I mean, there's going to have to be some type of travesty or a lot of for these guys to get playing.
Let me go through some of the chat here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I haven't been keeping up. But I agree with you, Boris. This World Cup in Qatar is a crime. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. We all know how they got it.
Yeah, cry 2 weeks before it kicks off. The last 12 years.
Carlos, I hope Enzo. I think Enzo is a shoe-in for a starting spot. I think he's just too influential.
Manny Valadon says don't matter. Santos is playing all defensive players in both teams.
Yeah. Yeah. What else we got here?
Felix ain't getting no minutes, man. Unfortunately, man. That's sad. But
yeah.
I mean, look, Diogo Jota did get hurt, so it opens up a door.
Yeah, Nick said there's still time for Drexler to contribute to this club.
Oh, absolutely. He's gonna have
Cristiano has a theory that or has a feeling that this
not
break.
A feeling. I mean, it just makes sense. What's he gonna be doing the whole break? He's got Berlin. While the World Cup is going on, he's gonna use this month to get in shape and recover. I mean, I would like to think Benfica. I mean, that's the obvious step. No, Alfredo.
Yeah.
Benfica's gonna do everything they can to get this guy ready to go. But look, he's not gonna play in none of the Taça da Liga games. They're gonna have this guy ready to go in quote unquote second half of the season when we kick back off after the World Cup.
Yeah, but he needs to get some game rhythm, and where's he gonna get that?
B team exhibitions and all that stuff.
B team? You think he's gonna play?
No, I don't mean B team. I'm talking about first team versus B team in practice because we're gonna have a month off. We're gonna have 2 games in between.
Yeah.
Was it 2 or 3 Taça da Liga games? I don't even know.
It might be the whole first round.
I don't even think they should be playing those games during the break. But
Why
that's
not?
just me.
Taça da Liga counts for nothing, right?
No, but it's not about
shit.
the Taça da Liga. But like, let's say you lose Enzo Otamendi, you lose all these players. You're not going. I don't care how weak or strong the competition is. You're not going in there with your strongest team when you're going up against their strongest team. I think it's BS.
Yeah. So
That's my opinion. You're not at full strength because your players aren't there. It's one thing if a player's injured and he can't partake, fine. But when a player's out, you're missing half of your team because they're playing in the World Cup somewhere, and you still have to field an 11 against the other team's strongest. And I get it that our quality should be 10 times better than the others, but it's still unfair. It's not your strongest 11.
Yeah.
Or at least you have the option of fielding your strongest 11. And I know they have all these rules. You got to play all these kids and whatever. But still, bro, it's still a huge difference in talent that's available and it's not available.
Yo, I like this conversation here that Carlos was saying. Soon the ball boys will start scoring. And then he said, bring out the players' wives. And then Yogo Reis just took it on another different direction.
Like he always does.
Talking about Salviu's new main squeeze.
No, that was, Carlos Massa, speaking of wives, anyone see Salviu's new girlfriend? If you haven't, I strongly recommend you start following him on Insta.
Yeah, and we all are familiar with the video.
I'm not. I heard about it, but I didn't watch it.
Septic bladder.
Yeah, that's what he calls him, septic bladder.
Yeah, we all knew that the Qatar thing was rigged, was corruption, and they paid a lot of these guys with big votes to get him in. But yeah, I mean, even today, the ambassador for the World Cup said that homosexuality is something wrong with your brain or a disease or whatever.
But bro, look, I obviously don't condone what these guys are saying, right? But come on, we all knew this all along.
Yeah.
And I get in Carlos today, him and I had a conversation going back and forth on Twitter. He said, well, some people come. Yes, some people, Carlos. It wasn't the masses. They're all now coming out of their hiding hole, right? Just kind of like, me too. Oh, you're complaining? I gotta come. Where have you been the last 12 years? A lot of these journalists in America, at least, just got the notice from their company that, oh, by the way, there's a World Cup. You gotta cover it. Oh shit, it's in Qatar. How? Why? What? We gotta complain about something.
Mental illness.
That's what I mean, bro. This should have been going on since 2010. It ain't 12 days before. It's 12 years ago. It's not 12 days before the kickoff of a tournament. There's nothing you can do about it now.
No.
At the end of the day, it sucks. You just gotta eat it, swallow it, keep it going. Bro, protest all you want. It's not stopping. And what you're doing is you're doing the event, right? You're doing the players that are participating in this World Cup, that have busted their ass to get in shape, and it's every player's dream to play in the World Cup. You're doing them a disservice. You're disrespecting these guys, because at the end of the day, all this, complaining and battle for the right things, which I totally agree. The World Cup should never have been held in Qatar. I agree with you, but it's over, guys. Now let's talk about the positives. There's nothing you can do. Let's hope that there is nothing really egregious that goes on at this World Cup with all these human rights. But let's just hope that everything goes smooth.
Yeah, I saw a tweet earlier today that the French exterior minister or some ministry was going to send some protection or some security to protect their 10,000 fans that are expected to follow the French national team.
But what are they going to do?
They're going to provide their own security.
You're in my country,
I just think
rules.
that maybe they will be there to keep fans kind of controlled, right? Because because I saw a poster, no drinking, no public displays of affection. So if the French police is there or security, whatever, and say, hey, don't do that, you could get in trouble for that. So if they act that almost as that buffer in between the real authorities and these foreigners, or French people in this case, I don't know. The thing just stinks.
Yeah, you know? I mean, Carlos says once Blatter got kicked out in 2015, it was too late to suspend the bid or whatever, the winning bid we have to eat it. And then Boris, I read that because I had to jump in with Boris. My man Boris.
Boris, it doesn't have to be an American country. It doesn't have to be a soccer country.
See, this is why
diz lá.
Right, Boris, because I like facts. Right, these are facts. It's not opinions. Right, but Boris says USA is not a football country. Sorry to all Americans. But here's the thing, Boris. The most watched, the most attended World Cup in the history of World Cups, it was in 1994 in the United States of America. Yeah. So that's all you need to know.
I mean,
I'm not gonna add anything else. Most attended World Cup in the history of the sport, 1994, the United States of America.
If there's a country that could put on a sizable event of this magnitude, it's the United States in terms of.
There is no country in the world that's got as many 90,000 plus stadiums as the United States.
No, we're not even going to talk about the infrastructure, right?
Come here, and you come to the United States, you travel, you don't have to worry about none of the things that we've just spent the last 10 minutes talking about Qatar. Bro, people want to travel to the United States as a destination. Some people come to watch and stay and never leave again. But
yeah, no, but you don't have to be a football nation to host. You just have to
be able to put on an event.
Correct.
And they do that.
And Americans have proven that time and time again. If you watch the first 5-6 minutes of our BE on Tour video, Baquero explains that in terms of what he saw. In terms of, he went to an NFL game, and the one thing that he's mentioning is it almost seems that every second is planned out by the organization.
To keep the fans engaged.
To keep the fans engaged, yeah.
It's all about the fan. And we're in Portugal. I think the fans are the last thing they worry about. But that's look, go check out Benfica on tour with yours truly, Capitão Baquero. It's tremendous. First time doing it, it was a blast in Portuguese. So if you understand Portuguese, please do yourself a favor and check that out. But yeah, I mean, look, you can rag on the United States not being a soccer nation. That's fine and dandy. But here's a couple more stats for those of you that want to knock it. Look, I live here pretty much my whole life, and I understand soccer is not ingrained. But at the end of the day, when you guys want to knock it, think about this, Boris. The United States has, on paper, on record, 350 million people. If it's 10% of the population follows the sport, that's 35 million. There's only 10 million people in Portugal. So Portugal can love soccer all day and all they want. But look, let me just upset you here for a little bit. Not all 10 million people in Portugal enjoy soccer. There's some people that don't enjoy soccer. So at the end of the day, you still have more people here watching soccer, only at 10%. Than you do in most other countries around the world.
Yep. All right. We've gone enough talking about the World Cup. Something that I really didn't want to talk about, but yeah, it's at the gate and it affects Benfica, so we kind of needed to discuss it. But everybody's got their own feelings about this Qatar and everything that's going to happen in the World Cup and the Seleção and Fernando Santos, and it's a polarizing topic, I'm sure. But anyway, that's all we got. Next week we'll be back and we'll recap the Estoril game with Gil Vicente. We got one more podcast before the World Cup break.
Before Alfredo goes on vacation, goes fishing.
Yeah, we'll go fishing. We'll do something.
I'll probably, I don't know, I'll be jumping in somewhere. I'm trying to hop on Barstool to cover Portugal.
There you go.
We'll see. Go there and scream with troops. See who can scream louder.
There you go.
Be more obnoxious.
I think you'd fit the role.
Thanks, bro.
Everyone, thank you very much for joining us and for keeping us company, man. We really appreciate it. All the Freddies in the chat. It was a really nice, funny chat, man. There was a couple
I love you guys, man. Thank you guys so very much.
Thank you. So next week we'll be back.
But now the conversation's getting good on the chat. Everybody, Boris, bro, you got to come around more often. You get the topics going. Everybody, the biggest problem in the U.S. as far as their national team goes is that they take a lot of Mexican. I should have stopped. Everybody, they take everybody.
Não vais pra aí.
Enjoy the break, guys. Carlos, all the Freddies, love you guys. Grande abraço, Bruno. I don't recall. Have you seen Bruno in the chat?
Brunjil? Yeah, we have.
We have. Valadon brothers, keep it cool, especially the one over there.
The Valadon brothers.
They're brothers now to me. I don't know. One got one got that thing, the acento over the A, the other one doesn't. So does that mean they're not related?
No, they're just using different keyboards.
Okay.
See you, everyone.
Peace out, everybody. Later. Go vote.